Got 84. Awesome. So we're 5 minutes in. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. Good morning to G-Accon's live webinar. Today, we've got Unlocking the Power of Your Data, Designing KPI Dashboards with G-Accon. Welcome in. And we've got Mr. Andrew Forte here as well. So let's jump right in. I'm your host. My name is Sonia. I am the Client Success Director for G-Accon. I'm currently located in Austin, Texas. I am a Michigan State University alumni. I go green and use G-Accon almost every day. So we're really excited to show you some awesome ways G-Accon can help you in your business. So let's talk a little bit about G-Accon. We are a cloud-based application integrating Google Sheets with various cloud accounting softwares. Over 17,000 businesses and firms trust G-Accon in over 60 different countries. G-Accon was recently named one of the top accounting apps for 2023 by Accounting Today. And we, in 2018, had Xero Emerging App Partner of the Year award. All right, so let's talk a little bit about our agenda. What we're going to do here today, we have Andrew Forte here. He's going to do a deep dive into automated financial reporting and strategic KPI dashboard designs using G-Accon. I'm going to go ahead and give a special presentation with myself and the G-Accon team on how to leverage G-Accon's brand new KPI templates and business overview reports. You can take a sneak peek at the templates in the link. We will send that in the chat, and you can go ahead and look at all our different KPI templates that we've got set up for you guys. And then we're going to have a live Q&A, and we can get all your questions answered directly from our experts. As I go through this presentation, I do want to let you guys know, please feel free to pop any questions that you have in the Q&A or in the chat. We'll be answering as we go, so don't feel shy or hesitate to do so. We've got Andrew here today. We're really honored to be hosting him. He is a certified G-Accon partner and the entrepreneurial spirit behind DataNow.guru. He transformed his business journey by leveraging G-Accon to navigate the sea of financial data and client reporting, and now he's here to share his wealth of knowledge with you. DataNow's most popular service is building out G-Accon reports for fractional CFO firms. And we'll also be popping that DataNow.guru website in the chat for you guys to go and visit yourselves. All right, I'm going to let Andrew take it from here.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I'm Andrew. I've seemed to have found myself as the G-Accon guy. But for good reason. I started off needing G-Accon actually for something I don't use it as much for, but it was actually really useful as an inventory management tool when I got started, because I was able to use G-Accon to pull live inventory data from Xero into Google Sheets and have it update every single hour. And that was as part of a system for other things, which, then staff had access to that data and other teams had access to that data. So without that small need for it, I probably wouldn't have discovered all the other incredible things that it's been able to do and pave the way for. But I'm glad I did. And since then, I think I've probably a day's not gone past in the last 7 years where I haven't used G-Accon. And I found myself expanding on just as opposed to just using inventory. I've now, of course, used it to its full potential, pulling in reports, KPIs, working with CFOs and their clients to help them analyze their clients' data, help them basically use G-Accon to pull the data from QuickBooks or Xero, and then make it a little bit more digestible and a little bit more easy to understand for the end user. Because I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of CFOs here, and that's probably one of the biggest things that you're trying to achieve. Or if you're a business owner, you just don't want to be bothered with logging into QuickBooks and logging into Xero and loading every single report that you want to see and opening 150 different tabs. Why not just have it in a single spreadsheet where you can see every single thing you can imagine from your accounting system in one place? So that's pretty much me. I like to think I'm an accountant gone rogue, who just does the fun stuff in accounting, the reporting and the looking at all the financial statements. And hopefully going to be sharing something interesting for you guys that you might be able to use in your own businesses. Sonia, shall I share my screen and jump in?
Yep, that's what I was about to say. I'm going to go ahead and stop and you can take over from here.
Fantastic. Let me click the little green share button and open it up here. So I just want to show you a couple of different dashboards that are possible within G-Accon. So all of these, okay, these dashboards may have historic data. That is, it's just because I have to take screenshots of time just to be careful what to share. But yeah, there's almost unlimited possibilities with Sheets. And I think that's the main benefit of G-Accon. I know a lot of CFOs out there will be struggling with, should I use Fathom or should I use Sift or should I use any of the mainstream reporting softwares, but you're never going to be able to get that granularity that you can with G-Accon. It allows you to analyze and find specific things that are bothering that business. In this case, it was contractors or legal and professional services, and they wanted to see it as a percentage of their revenue, and they wanted to see current ratio. They wanted to see their solvency, but they didn't want to see everything that was possibly able to bring in. As you can see here, I've highlighted the sheets in black, and that's all the raw data that's bringing in, and it can feed straight from QBO, and it can be updated almost every hour, and that means it's live, real time, and you can use it, and anyone with access to Google Sheets is able to access it. So it makes it really nice, especially for investors, business owners, and so on. So I'm going to page through to another type of report where you're able to see your cash levels across different bank accounts, your cash runways, how many days you're going to last before your cash runs out. Lots of nice calculations and different formulas that you can use with the data that comes in. Then I've also got a very baseline profit and loss. And why I wanted to show you this is because there's actually a updated version of the profit and loss, and a lot of the reports have been updated recently by G-Accon, which look a little bit fancier now, and I will show you those in just a second, so keep that in mind. And as you can see, you can go for a more clean, simple, single page report. The CFO was just interested in a very baseline, easy to digest, one page report for the clients. And you can also do very complicated reports with lots of percentages and detail on it as well. And all of these you don't have to update or maintain. They're just going to keep going as long as you refresh as long as you keep your G-Accon license going, your reports will keep going. And I'm going to pause at this point, and I see there are 2 questions in the chat. So guys, please do take the opportunity to leave the questions down, because you have access to myself now, and I would love to answer them. There'll be a moment when I hand back over to Sonia that I'll be going through the questions, and hopefully I'll be able to answer those for you. And if there's time at the end, we can actually go through some of them potentially in the chat. So whatever you want, I'll be able to try my best to answer them just after the conversation. So what I wanted to show you here is the new style of profit and loss, where it's actually going to indent some of the sub-accounts, and it does a nice grouping on it. It is a much prettier and more appealing look and a nice upgrade. So especially if you're thinking about giving this just to your clients, you don't need to do any of this. It just does it for you, which is the great thing. If you add a new account, it's going to add a new account. If you delete an account, it's going to delete an account. And if you have formulas along the side, those are also going to be able to auto adjust and be able to function in. And there's also ways that you can add in gross profit margins and other formulas alongside with that. You can also have very clean and simple dashboards that you can basically, your imagination is the limit here, and you're able to put any sort of data that you want on here. In this case, I've kept it nice and simple, just so that it's easy for the business owners to understand at the end of the day. Doesn't mean you can't do more detailed things, your asset ratios, current ratios, liquidity tests, inventory days, creditor days, debtor days, anything like that. All of those ratios that we learned in university and college, we're able to recreate because we have access to the raw data and we have access to different formulas within Google Sheets. So then just to show you the profit and loss again, balance sheet has also got those nice indents. The sub-accounts surprisingly help a lot with just being able to explain to your clients this is what's made up of this account, and there's also, if it's not necessary for your consultation with the client, you're also able to hide specific data, and then it's not there to cloud their judgment and potentially lead them down the wrong decision path. Furthermore, this is a simple cash flow statement. Maybe also I could also interject here. This is all dummy data that is being brought in from it is called G-Accon, but they are doing a lot better than this company on in the demo. It is just a burner QuickBooks account that we use for these kinds of things. And of course, with all the data that we have available, we are able to do forecasts and we are able to do projections. And you can also do manual things. If you want to put in notes to your CFOs, to your clients, you are able to do that as well. So what I wanted to do now is it's maybe off topic, but it does explain a little bit of the process that you can take as a business owner. There's a little bit of the usability behind G-Accon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, and that's probably something that you maybe want to apply now to, you've got a template now, you want to apply it to multiple other things, multiple other entities. So what you can do is you can make a copy. And this also is a testament to how easy it is to use these tools once they are set up properly. And what I can do is, obviously, this would now be the old company's data. So I'm just going to steal a couple of the formulas, and I am able to just delete all of this raw data. So you'll see everything's going to break, and that's nothing to worry about. Then what we can do is select a company, because now we're not in demo 8. Let's say we're in client A, and we're going to be able to select a company along the side. And we'll select the G-Accon burner account. And it's selected that. Now we have a whole wealth of different options here. So slightly different to what Sonia will be showing you, that she's got a example where she'll be going through some of the G-Accon cloud templates. I'm going to be showing you some of the batch cloud templates. And this is a really powerful feature, because you essentially would be able to choose all of the data once off that you want in your spreadsheet, and you're able to then just in bulk select all of that data. And when you click execute, it's going to start loading all of this different data. And now you don't have to go, you will have to initially either work with someone like myself, or you'll have to go through and just select the different parameters that you want. But you can see in an instant, I've got all of the data populated as of the parameters that I set, which I obviously wanted these date ranges. I wanted it accrual, and I wanted all of this specific information brought in. Then I'm going to paste in some of this data. And there is one slight hack that you have to do with Google Sheets, is you just have to reset the formula. And I'm just going to replace a figure within the formulas with the same thing, just so that it knows to update all of the formulas. And then if all's gone well, you can see some of the data is populating back, and we have profit and loss going. And we have different KPIs, and all the dashboards are set up just from adding that data. Now you could load all of your clients just like that in a couple of, depending on how many clients, but as you can see, it doesn't take tremendously too long. Now, obviously, this is quite a simple one, but we can go a little bit more in depth. Now, for those of you that aren't blessed with a starting point as pretty as this, and you want to just maybe work through it on your own, a key thing to work with and to understand when using G-Accon is how to use your data, how to pull that data. So here I have a profit and loss. And now we're going to get in a little bit into the formula side of things. So let's say I'm working on the KPI sheet, and I want to present some KPIs to my clients. What I don't want to do is work on a formula basis like this, where you just go equals, and I want to be bringing in total sales for September. That's the unadvisable way to do this, because remember, with G-Accon, it's going to be automatically updating this data. And your client has new sales, new in Corp 1, new in Corp 2, sales 3, but next week they've got sales 4 and they've got sales 5, which means your data is moved down two rows and you've lost that reference. And I think that's a big pain point for a lot of CFOs, especially when they're going the old-fashioned route, taking the data from QuickBooks, pasting it into your spreadsheet, and then they have to redo these formulas, which can be extremely painstaking. And I think you can weigh up the time value of money, and you might realize it might be cheaper just to get it automated once off. So that's the unadvisable way to do it. But then there's other ways that you can do it. So I'm just going to briefly show you. Hopefully it's not too overwhelming, but you can use a query formula where you query the data set, and it's breaking. I'll kind of go through this. You just query what data do you want to look for, and then I just tell it I want to select column B, column C, D, E, F, G, H, and that's basically going September all the way to the latest month that we've got on record. And then I want to say where A contains net income in this case. See, I've got net income over there. I could probably zoom in a bit more at this point. And I just want to limit it to bring back one account, but there will always only be one account. What's nice with that is you can change this then to total income, and you can change it to gross profit. And it's going to bring that data in. So it doesn't matter if your data is moved up 1,000 rows or 1,000,000 rows, you're basically still going to be able to reference that same data. And then this is where you can get fun, you can get creative, and you can start pulling in current assets, current liabilities, and you just got to select the right data set in the beginning. Okay, do I want to do the profit and loss? Do I want to get it from the balance sheet? And if that looks overwhelming, you can also do a VLOOKUP. However, because we are using the new format of profit and loss, there's a little bit of an extra element because we have to just get rid of some of these white spaces before we do the VLOOKUP. And if you want, you can always take a screenshot of this formula. It may be helpful in getting started. But basically, you create a new data set like this, and that allows you to do the VLOOKUP as normal. If that seems overwhelming, just run another profit and loss in the old style where you don't have that empty space, and then you just do a VLOOKUP, plain and simple. What are you looking up? What's the data set? What row do you want to bring back? In that case, in what column do you want to bring back, which is going to be the month. And you obviously want to always get an exact match on that. So that's just the key points that I wanted to really portray and to make sure that you work through when you're building these reports out. It's so essential that you try to avoid this at all costs. It can lead you to have misrepresented data, and it can cause issues. And it's the key thing to understand is that the profit and loss, balance sheet, chart of cash flow, even this chart of accounts, it's going to change every single day. As long as your clients are working in it, they are going to be updating it. And just as a quick overview as well, what I wanted to show you is just some of the new types of reports that they've got without stealing.
And Andrew, real quick, I do see in the chat, somebody asking to show the query formula again.
Yes, I will make sure to show that again. So just to go through, so all of these reports here, this isn't the full list of data you can get from QBO, but this is all of the data that's in this. A lot of the times I just name it as balance sheet pretty or profit and loss pretty because it's got a slightly improved aesthetic. It's got all your conditional formatting. Cost of goods sold is always going to be highlighted. And what you can also do is if you don't like these colors, you are able to change you go very granular, and you can change your income, your header rows and your title rows and all of that into different colors down to the text, font sizes, bottom borders, top borders, bold and italic. You can really go quite in depth with that. So let me jump back to that query formula. Here we go. And I'll just explain it one last time. It's just you selecting the data set. And what's nice is you don't have to use the trim formula, because even though on the profit and loss, total sales isn't exactly total sales because there's some blank spaces here. So that's not going to matter if we're using the query formula, because it's asking it, find me a cell that contains this word, or it contains total income, or it contains total gross profit. So even if I wanted to do purchases, it's still going to work regardless. So just in case I didn't hold that for there long enough. And this is also how you reference the cell. You've got to do 3 of these little things, an ampersand, and then you put the cell reference, ampersand, and then 3 of these double commas, inverted commas. So that's pretty much the gist of it. What I'll do now is perhaps, Sonia, if you're ready, I can hand back to you, and then I can start working through some of the questions, and I'll leave a little bit more time to hopefully answer some of those while you're going through your demo. Is that all right?
Sure. Yep. Absolutely. Right. Sounds good. Yep. Fantastic. And then just a disclaimer to everybody, we are having questions answered in the Q&A. So those have been being answered as Andrew was talking, if anyone wants to go take a peek. But thank you, Andrew, for that. That was awesome. I think really helpful. I see a bunch of comments in the chat saying that it was super helpful. So thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and get started showing you guys our KPI reports and graphs dashboard. So this is a relatively new thing that we've brought to G-Accon. As you can see up here, this is just V1 of the KPI reports and dashboard. We've got multiple different versions going on right now. There should be a link in the chat to go check those out. Our couple different templates. I'm going to show you guys how to set this up for your use. And it's really a one-time setup, and then the rest of it should be quick and easy. So I'm going to show you not only how to make sure your data is linked into here, but also how to automate it so that you don't ever have to do any manual work on it moving forwards. So starting in these first report tabs at the bottom here, you can see I've got profit and loss, balance sheet report, statement of cash flows, profit and loss variance, and so on. The file, when you first get it, it's going to be a view-only file. So you're going to want to go ahead and make a copy of the workbook so that you can start playing around in it yourself. And then, as always, you want to make sure that you're signed into QuickBooks before starting to pull your data in. But starting on that first tab, profit and loss report, you're going to go ahead and go to G-Accon for QuickBooks, load cloud template, and then head to the G-Accon cloud template library. So I know Andrew was just talking about the batch cloud template library. This is the G-Accon cloud template library. And then for this package, in this search bar here, you're just going to go ahead and type in KPI. And then you'll see in these 3 pages, a total of 8 different reports pop up. So just in order, you're going to go ahead, click on the first. We're starting with profit and loss. And this is solely to pull your data in to get started. So once this window pops up with different parameters, you're not going to change too much. Especially don't change these date windows, just because they are tied to a tab in the workbook that I'll show you guys in a quick minute. Go ahead and hit execute. And then once that loads up, we're going to have our data from QuickBooks fully and successfully put into this workbook. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and do that for all of these different tabs. And again, this is just a one-time thing that you need to do when you first get your hands on this workbook. Once you do this, your data will be tied in, and you're not going to have to do this again. This is just to get you set up. So for example's sake, I'm going to go ahead and do the profit and loss report, balance sheet report, and the statement of cash flows report, just for time purposes. But when you're doing this on your end, you would be doing this for every single one of the 8 tabs at the bottom there. And again, that's just found in the cloud template library by typing in KPI. You'll see all 8 of those reports ready to load in your respective information. So once I've got these 3 sheets or 3 tabs uploaded, and it, in your case, it would be filled with your respective information out of QuickBooks or client information, then we would want to automate a workflow. So I'm going to do this statement of cash flows report right here. And again, quick and easy, just typing in KPI. Statement of cash flows, clicking on it. And of course, you're going to get the same parameters that you would with the business overview reports here. So you can change the style to your aesthetic liking, whatever you may need. Or if you're planning on sharing this with an external client or somebody outside of your company, you can format it more to their liking, however you would like. Try to make it as customizable as possible for you guys. We know that the data is important, but aesthetics are also as important. So in this case, again, you would typically go through all of the 8 tabs at the bottom here and update those with your data. Once that's done, you will have the different reports to add to your workflow. So now we want to automate the dashboard and make sure that it's being updated on whatever basis you may need at your discretion, but it's being updated. You don't have to do any manual work. We're going to reduce that human error and ultimately save time. So going G-Accon for QuickBooks, automation, and then create workflow. We're going to get a window that pops up here shortly and add our newly updated templates. So I'm going to go ahead and call this demo workflow, again, for demonstrative purposes. You can go ahead and add a description if you would like. And then going to the add templates area, you can see, again, I only updated the first 3 reports for this example's sake, but in your case, you would see all 8 of the reports that you updated here. And then you can either drag and drop or just hit the little plus icon and it'll select those templates. Those are all going to be automatically refreshed and updated. You can select the frequency here. For example's sake, let's say you'd like it to be done daily, maybe a little bit before your workday around 6 a.m. Click this box to generate a log of all automatic operations. I find that to be really helpful. It'll be a tab, the very last tab in your workbook, and it'll show you exactly which reports were updated, when they started to pull data, and when execution of that was successful. In the email section, this is really awesome too. You can go ahead and add your own email in here, or you can add internal colleagues' emails in here. Or again, if you're using this dashboard for more client purposes, you could add a client's email in here as well and give it a subject and a message, and it essentially will just shoot whoever you put in here a quick email saying that the document's been successfully refreshed, everything's ready to look at and good to go. So these are the main functions of automating it all. I'm going to go ahead and hit apply and execute. And now I have successfully automated the workflow. That's going to be done on a daily basis. I'm going to get an email about it, and I'll be able to go and look at that automatic operations log to make sure that everything's pulled correctly. That dates tab that I was talking about earlier. So you'll notice all of these reports are tied to this dates tab. They have cell references. So this is another quick and easy thing that we did for you guys. We wanted to make sure, you know, if you wanted to change the date range of the reports you were looking at, you wouldn't have to go through report by report by report and change that date range. The way we set it up in here is quick and easy. All you have to do is hop in here and change these specific date values, and all of the reports and the dashboard itself will change to those specific date ranges. So super quick, super easy. You don't need to do too much, literally just a change of the cell right here and you're good to go. We do have this total data tab at the very end. We do ask you don't touch this tab too much. This is a gigantic query that the entire dashboard is running off of. So nothing to do here. You don't need to go ahead and change anything. Any formulas in here, leave them alone. It's how the dashboard is running. So nothing to be edited or done. Last thing here, in setting it all up, company profile, once you update that company profile tab, you will have an automatic population here. So it wouldn't say demo G-Accon LLC or G-Accon here. It would have your respective company name and information. The only real manual work that you've got to do is go ahead to this logo here and change it out to either your logo, a client's logo, whatever you'd like populated there. And then overall, you'll have a dashboard. It'll look something like this. Again, we do have a couple different versions, so slightly different, but for the most part, this is what it would look like. And that would be populated again with all of those different reports that you updated to your respective data out of QuickBooks. So, yep, that is our KPI reports and graphs design. I'm going to go ahead and move back to the presentation. All right, and we are at the time for Q&A now. So I know there was a couple Q&A questions. I am going to go ahead and run through the ones that have been answered, and if anybody missed that, and then Andrew, if there's any questions pertinent to your part of the discussion, I'm gonna go ahead and hand you the mic on that one. So I'm gonna run through what we've got in general. Any plans to create G-Accon integration with NetSuite? Currently no plans to be doing that. Will we have access to this recording? Yes, and if you go into the Q&A section, there is a link to the YouTube channel. That's where this will be put after this webinar concludes. I see any plans on creating G-Accon integration with Microsoft Excel. Yes, there will be integration with 365. Is G-Accon also integrated with AppFolio? No, we are not. When will the templates be shared? There is a link again in the Q&A section that takes you to the wiki for that, and it'll show you all the different KPI dashboards for Xero and QuickBooks. Are templates available in the library? Yes, the cloud template library, exactly like I showed you guys, going to G-Accon cloud template library and then just popping KPI in that search box. Are templates available for QBO for QuickBooks? Yes, there are 5 KPI dashboard versions right now for QuickBooks. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it to you, Andrew. I think the rest of the other
questions. there was one thing that I did want to mention, and I probably could have gone over it. So just for a couple of that asked, when I loaded my batch cloud template, so it's slightly different to the demo that Sonia did, but I just want to show you. So once you've loaded a report or a template, anything that's possible within G-Accon, whether it's you're just pulling in the list of classes or the list of accounts, whenever you edit the templates within the current sheet, you'll always see whatever data is being pulled into the sheet. Then what you can do is you can save it under save it here. And once you save that in your cloud, you'll be able to go to G-Accon for QuickBooks. And sorry, I just have to move this chat, and I have to move the chat again. G-Accon QuickBooks, and you'll be able to see it under your batch cloud templates. So you only have to do the setup once, and then thereafter you'll be able to see it.
I was going to say, Andrew,
and you're able to group it.
Did you want to share your screen?
Oh, is it not sharing?
No.
Oh, no.
No worries. No worries.
Okay. Is it sharing now?
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Very bad. Excuse me for that. So, okay, starting from the get-go, what I did is I uploaded, so this is where I've got my template saved, and I can give it any name that I want. I just called it save it there. And okay, maybe it's going to give me an issue because I've already saved one there. Nope, it liked that. And under the batch cloud templates, now I'll have that there. So you only have to create it once and you'll have it there. But then what's nice is you're able to group it into different categories, and you're able to load those and just replicate it across whichever clients you use it for. So that was one thing, and maybe just an oversight. So if you go to batch cloud templates and you're a new user, you might not see something there right away. That was just one thing. And then there was a question in the chat that I wasn't able to answer. I prefer the query formula. It works a little bit better for me. The VLOOKUPs, you still have to VLOOKUP the right column unless you change that index component with a match formula and then you match the date, but that can also get a little bit tricky. Yeah, apologies for not sharing the screen earlier.
No worries. We got there, and that's what matters.
Fantastic.
I am seeing a couple other questions. What's the difference between balance sheet and balance sheet report in the KPI reports? The balance sheet just shows summary data for the dashboard, and then the balance sheet report is the real report that you might want to present to internal team members or clients. Yep. If a developer wants to collaborate with the G-Accon team, who would they contact? You can contact all of us at support@accon.services. And that goes for all of you guys. Any questions or support, you can reach out to myself directly or support@accon.services. Awesome. Any other questions? Let's see. I think there were a few in the chat also. We've got that wiki link in the chat for you guys to check out. That's where you're going to find those KPI templates and dashboards.
Maybe while we let another couple of questions come through, am I sharing my screen now?
No. Here.
Oh, it's load. Oh, I see it's loading.
There we go.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So just off a little bit off beat, but previously I only showed you the list of the new reports and templates that are available. I just wanted to take a moment just to show you the comprehensive list of stuff that you are able to bring in. Payable details by location for those of you that work on a granular level with your CFOs, whether it's you want to show them their days outstanding in one simple place. I know a lot of business owners love to see that in their monthly and weekly calls, how many customers haven't paid them or how many bills they have to pay. Balance sheet, and then not just balance sheet, but balance sheet by class, whether you want to see it by customer, by location, by specific products and services, by vendors. Likewise, with the profit and loss, you can also go into that same type of detail. And then in between all of these, you have a whole heap of very interesting reports. Customer income, found myself using that today. Detailed transactions allows you to see all of the transactions, so you could filter and group that with your clients, just to maybe highlight some of the most expensive things that they've been purchasing, or some of the smaller expenses on their books, and just be like, hey, you remember you're spending this every month. And sales by customer, transaction lists, cash sales, cash transactions, specific details on vendors. And without going too long on the same thing, there's also a get accounting data sheet, list of reports, and that will allow you to get some of the more static data, like your invoices, employees, estimates, items. This was that first report that I was always using with the items and stock levels, bills, budgets, classes, sales reps, agencies, tax codes, all of those things. These are kind of the more static data within your clients' organizations or within your organization. And a combination of all of these can be a very powerful tool.
Absolutely. And I am seeing a question. Could you show how to replace the logo on the template once again? I absolutely can show you guys how to do that. It's actually the simplest part of setting up your dashboard. In the company profile section, we've got your logo right over here. And this is literally just a delete and put in your logo. So really quick and easy. I'm going to head back here. Let's get that rolling. I see some other questions coming in. Let's see the Q&A. Are there budget versus actual reports available? Yep, there definitely are in custom accounting reports and business overview reports. I'm seeing currently the balance sheet integration with Xero only allows to pull 12 months at a time. To pull more than that, you would need to create multiple templates. For the cloud template library, I'm seeing it wasn't working for somebody. You do want to make sure that you are signed into your organization. Once you're signed in under G-Accon for Xero or QuickBooks, you should be able to see the load cloud template option. All right, let's see any other questions.
There's one question here. Any detailed sales reports, sales analysis reports available? I could try share my screen.
Sure.
And I see it is loading. I'm not too sure what the demo data has, but you are able to do, for instance, sales by customer, let's say for last month, and let's just see what comes out of that. But yeah, there's sales by customer, by vendor, by item. You can pull all of that. And then obviously you could also just pull invoices as well. So you can see here, we've obviously got a few big customers, probably a severe refund happened over there. Just kidding, it's just demo data. But yeah, you can see it would be quite easy to be able to show this to your client in a CFO capacity and have them be very impressed with it. What I would do is always just add some colors and make sure the formatting's retained, and just as simple as that, you have a very pretty report to show the client. And it's, of course, going to be constantly kept up to date, something that they can use as well as yourself to walk them through. Helps everyone. Hope that answered the question.
Absolutely. And I know we are approaching the end of our time here, but I do want to rest assured, you guys, all questions will be answered, and we will send a follow-up with all the answered questions. So you guys can always reference that. And then, like already mentioned, this entire webinar will be on our YouTube channel as well. I'm seeing a couple more that have just popped in. Let's see, if you add another tab with a specific report to the KPI dashboard, will that mess up the dashboard or how data pulls? Nope, it will not mess up the existing dashboard. Like I had mentioned, there's just that total data tab. That's really important. And that's, the entire query holding it all together. As long as you don't mess with that, all should be well. So you can go ahead and add whatever tabs you may like. Specific templates available for KPIs related to accounts receivable and accounts payable. Do we have those yet? We do not yet have them, but they are on their way. We'll keep you guys updated in terms of that. Let's see. Andrew answered that question. Logo. Is there a G-Accon community forum, Slack or FB maybe?
It's a good idea.
I know we've got our blog. There is a G-Accon blog. Best way to learn the basics of G-Accon. The webinars, definitely. We've got our wiki also. And if you go to the G-Accon website and go to Help Center, that's really helpful. And then we've got our YouTube channel as well. A couple different playlists in there going through how to use G-Accon with QuickBooks, Xero, and more. There is Facebook. There is a Facebook community forum. Awesome. Love it. Any other questions?
Maybe on that extra receivables and payables, just my screen share is loading just momentarily. But if there's not a template available just yet, I must say the basic, the way the template comes out, if you just set it to format it to days and you have a couple comparison periods, for the most part, if it's not a client with a massive amount of receivables or payables, usually, in all honesty, this is quite digestible for them because they're probably not going to be too worried about their current outstandings. And you can just point out to them and highlight any of these outliers that are becoming big concerns that are 60 days, 120 days. And you can also leave some messages within the sides there. But yeah, just on its own, I found this report incredibly useful on a, maybe less on a CFO side, but on the business owners, that you can share that with your sales reps or your sales team. Make sure they're chasing your credit controllers, make sure they're following up with customers, and maybe in your payables department, make sure payments are being made. And yourself, you can, of course, monitor that in real time, which is quite nice.
Absolutely. Okay. I think we've got all the questions answered. It's looking like I'm looking at the Q&A in the chat. And again, any questions on, okay, when you pull information by class, is it possible to exclude class totals? You can check the option data rows only in the change poll settings of the template. That's the second tab in there. When you pull a template, I'm seeing thank yous. That's awesome. Andrew, yes, thank you, Andrew, for his time. That was great. I think really helpful. Awesome. Okay. I do think we're at the end of our time here. So any other last minute questions? Anything else you guys feel we didn't cover that you're wondering about? Let us know.
I think one point to reinforce is if you're struggling to get it going, Google Sheets does have some limitations with how you can interact with it, with all the plugins that are built for Google Sheets. Keep trying and, just push through that initial learning curve. I think that's a big factor with any of the reporting softwares that you adopt, whether it is Fathom or Sift or anything like that. You want to just make sure that you just, once you've got it, it'll click, and then it's not going to be such a learning curve.
Definitely. Yep. I absolutely want to echo that sentiment. There is a learning curve, as with everything, but it's absolutely worth it at the end of the day. Make your business better, save you time. Overall, great. Okay. Yeah. I'm seeing a bunch of thank yous. Thank you everyone so much. I am going to go ahead and conclude the webinar soon. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And thank you, Andrew, so much for your time.
Thanks, everyone.
Here. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love it. I love that this was helpful for everyone. And like I said, though, there will be a follow-up. Any questions we missed, we'll be answering them. We've got links. We'll send those out too. So yeah, definitely. Glad this was helpful for everybody.